Yeah, we controlled our own destiny, and that's all you can ever ask for. And so disappointing because I thought we did some good things on defense. We obviously missed a couple field goals, so our special teams were sort of hit and miss a little bit. We got a fumble recovery on a muff punt, and offensively we're just kind of up and down, and we just got to get 10 back up and running. And I thought he did some better things. I thought he played a little bit more decisive, but you can still see the rust. And what people don't realize is, he gets concussed in the Western Kentucky game, misses a half, and then misses the whole game the next week, and then takes a shot in that La Tech game. I mean, he takes a shot and misses the next 14 days. Didn't even practice. And then we get him back for 4 days of practice before we play Kennesaw. And again, working through some things. At times he did good, sometimes. And so just, playing against a good defense, just we didn't capitalize with our opportunities. We had the ball inside the 30 a number of times and didn't get points. So that was really disappointing because, I say this all the time to our guys. We're the best team in this league when we play clean. And offensively, we had played really pretty good football, minus the Central Florida game up through to where, we got Hunter injured in that Western Kentucky game. And now it just seems like we're not back on track yet, and we got to get back on track. So, like I said, we're playing championship defense. Special teams has been, one of those hit or misses, and offensively, we're not where we were early in the season. With all that said, we still had a chance to win that football game. And we didn't, which is disappointing. So now, everything goes, on to beating Liberty. You beat Liberty, you sit and watch that Jacksonville State Western Kentucky game, and you're rooting for Jacksonville State, which I don't know if I've ever thought I'd say that. But it's amazing how these things work, So, yeah, again, really disappointed. Still a lot to play for. Seniors' last game, in terms of Bauer Stadium. I made a comment on Sunday to the team, just some of the fellows around. I said, for the seniors, last time they may ever put the equipment on. And, talking it through, we do have a bowl game coming up, so they'll have that opportunity. But I guess the big thing is, for a lot of these guys, they've had such an amazing experience in Bauer Stadium. These guys, were part of a 21-win win streak, part of a national championship, part of the first team to go to a bowl game in FBS. So there's some seniors that are graduating that have some very, very unique resumes, and those guys will be missed, and it'd be nice to send them out, the right way. In terms of Liberty, the quarterback makes them tick. I mean, and they're gonna all bets are off. Don't be surprised if he runs the ball a lot. You can't run a quarterback like him all season long 30 times, but you can pick your spots. Don't be surprised if the ball's in his hand a lot this weekend. It's a playoff game. It's a do or die game, and he's really good. And so, and their running back's really good. They have a good, solid offensive line, and they have some weapons on the outside. So, looking forward to, national television. It's a, Black Friday game, and we get a chance to see if we can get back in this thing. So.
All right, let's start off with some questions, and we'll give the first one to Tyler Shaw.
Yeah, Casey, when you have a basically playoff game like this, a do or die, is it easier to get your guys kind of in the right mindset and they understand what they're playing for? And then also with it being Friday, I mean, how uneasy does that make you knowing that you're, let's say you beat Liberty, but you still got to wait over 24
hours
to see what happens.
Well, I think losing and it always takes a little time to get out of your system. But we wouldn't have the time to get it out of our system because we're in a short week. Monday is Tuesday. Tuesday's Wednesday. Wednesday's Thursday. I mean, it's just the way our world works. And so I think because of that short week, we've had to get them refocused pretty quickly. And, They know the consequence or the ramifications and the possibilities that we get back in this thing. We'd love to go back down to Jacksonville and play again. Again, a game that we thought we had opportunities and we didn't take advantage of those opportunities. So all we can do is play the game in front of us. We're playing a really good opponent, and they're in the same situation we're in. They win, they're probably in, or I think they are in. If we win, then we're kind of a little bit of a waiting game. But obviously, both of us have a lot riding on this game, so that's exciting. And sitting around, if we can get a win, we'll sit around and we'll enjoy watch someone else work for a living. So it'd be a lot of fun doing that.
Carlos.
Coach, a bright spot on Saturday was KG, 17 tackles in the ballgame for a new career high, and he eclipsed 250 for his career. Just what more can you say to that about his performance?
Yeah, when you take Trevor Williams and you redshirt him and you plug in someone else playing linebacker at his spot, and he's the player of the year in the conference when we were back in the WAC, it tells you his skill set. Former safety, moves down, plays linebacker for us, really athletic, great blitzer, can run with a running back out of the backfield, but he's really developed his body where he's a very physical presence now. So, yeah, he's had a great career. He's one of those guys that, you're going to be out there on senior day, and he's a guy that you're really going to miss. A guy that, unfortunately didn't get a chance to redshirt, just when he came in. But boy, he's had an outstanding career.
Colin Neal. Colin, I think you're muted. We'll let you get set up. We'll go over to Luke Scott.
Hey, Coach. It's kind of no secret Vaughn's been struggling lately. Has it been something in his mechanics? Do you think it's just kind of something mentally that's been bothering him this past few weeks?
Well, people always forget, with a kicker, there's a lot of other moving parts. There's a snap, there's a hold, there's those kind of things too. And what I always try to tell people is listen, the guy's kicked 3 game winners for us. So when it came down to it, he's been there to kick those game winners. He just has been a little off. Yeah, now we got his kickoff squared away. We were really struggling early in the season with his kickoffs, and I think Zach's done a really good job getting him to keep those in bounds, which was a real struggle. Putting the ball in the 35, especially how good our defense is. Giving someone the ball in the 35 is not ideal. But it's just just a mechanical thing. We video every single kick, so we can analyze it. We actually have people at the NFL level and high Power 5 level that we actually consult with on form and technique and here, what do you see? Plant foot or whatever it may be. Not lifting his head up. That was something that he was doing earlier with some of his kickoffs. He just says, not planted properly or, maybe a little over rotation on the swing, but just some minor little things. He has a strong leg. But again, it's really hurt us. We went into the season thinking we had one of the better, with Colby, we thought we had one of the better kickers in all of Texas. And, with him, having the labrum, that's forced us to make some changes. And, we've had some success, but we've also had some disappointments too. And those 2 field goals would have been big for us.
Go back over to Colton.
Yeah, last week you mentioned wanting to see more aggressiveness from the offensive line. I'm just curious if you saw any of that, and what more kind of do you want to see?
Yeah, I look back. Unfortunately, I think our measuring stick is back there, that Texas State game when we, just kind of manhandled them up front. And we just haven't manhandled people like we're capable. Now, at the same time, if you're missing some easy passes, all of a sudden more guys start getting in the box, and you start getting a little predictable where you're running the ball on first down because you're not hitting some of those easy passes. So it's complementary football in terms of on the offensive side. We need to be able to hit some of those easy pitch and catches for us to get our run game going also. If people aren't threatened by our passing game at all, then, they're going to load the box. So, like I said, there's glimmers, but we haven't had that consistency. And again, possibly that part of that is because of all the time that Hunter has missed. Not only on game day, but he's missed so much practice time. And again, we've seen glimmers and glimpses of like, hey, that's what we used to be. We need to get back there, And again, I think if we'd have had, a little bit of that this past weekend, we capitalized on some of those short fields and we win that ball game. Unfortunately, we didn't. And we all know. I mean, offensively, we know that we need to make those plays for us to beat Liberty this weekend.
All right, Colin, let's try you again and see if it'll work.
I'm sure it'll work this time. There we go.
Hey, Colin.
Coach, I can't remember the exact numbers. Like 125th, 127th in red zone scoring percentage. Just where can you kind of start to improve that sort of thing, especially against the Liberty offense, where you're going to have the offense to capitalize any chance they get.
Yeah. Well, again, part of it is us not executing at the field goal, where we're going to be, getting points in those situations. And sometimes I'm putting ourselves in situations where maybe a little bit 4th and long, I'm still going for it because I'm not sure where we are. Our distance is in terms of accuracy and kicking a field goal. So I think part of that all marries together with some of the problems we had with our field goal unit and also some of the problems we're having with our just scoring points in the red zone. But when you get in the red zone, you got to be able to run the football, and we just have not been able to run the ball right at people when it's important. And then all of a sudden we're starting to relying on a passing game, and now we get predictable 3rd and longs. So again, to me, either you're throwing the ball and that's opening up the run game, or you're running the ball and it's throwing up the passing game. And we're struggling right now because we got really neither one of those working on a regular basis for us. And I'll say this, I do think it's there. It's not like I think there's no hope and we're just not good on that side of the ball. I think, if you just look at all the time that Hunter has missed and we feel he's our best option, you realize that, okay, we got to get him back in a groove. And like I said, there's been glimpses the last 2 weeks when he's playing decisive and he's making those decisions like I'm throwing it or I'm pulling it down and I'm going. He's the guy that scored 40 points against Texas State and had this offense rolling. We got to get that guy back. Well, yeah, it's a shame because in that drive there was 2 penalties. One wasn't called on a pick play, which was just so disappointing because we talked about with the officials prior to the game. And, I mean, they picked us, and that was like a 30 or 40-yard gain, 30-yard gain, I guess. And then the helmets got locked together. And so their helmet came off. So with the helmets locked together and their helmet coming off, it made it look like our kid was handed to the face, but he wasn't. It's just that he, they're locked and he just sort of like throws his head and it pushed his helmet off. And, after I explained that to the officials, because we see the plays in real time. We have a pad. And that life is different for an official now. I mean, life is different. It's like, oh no, I just saw it. We have pads on the sideline. And when I mentioned that the helmets got locked together and that when, they tried to disengage, the referee was like, oh, it almost like that made sense. So, yeah, I mean, it was one of those where the helmets got locked together and in their struggle to get them apart, and still playing the game, the defender's helmet came off. I mean, the offensive lineman's helmet came off, and we got that penalty.
Colton, it seems like this Liberty team is kind of hitting its stride late in the year. Just kind of what have you seen from them over these last couple of weeks, that's gotten them to this point to, be fighting for that final spot?
Yeah, I think it's that the quarterback's like taking everything on his shoulders and saying, okay, before, like when he would scramble a lot of it was scrambled to just extend the play and look down. Now he's been very decisive. When it's not there, he's just pulling the ball down and going. He doesn't mind taking hits. It's like he realizes, you know what, this is coming to an end here. If I take a hit, I take a hit. Typically, when you talk to your quarterbacks, especially early in the season, it's like, listen, just manage how many hits you take. Be smart, get out of bounds, be smart, get down, be smart, throw the ball away. It just seems like their quarterback, realizes he has to put this team on his shoulders, and he has been very aggressive in terms of being decisive and pulling the ball down and making plays.
Luke, Coach, it's kind of been not to like hark on the offense or anything, but
Oh, we can hark on the offense. I do all the time.
Noah had some good target share, but then it was kind of like in the past few weeks, it's just kind of been one guy, and no one else can really produce that much. How do you get your guys more involved, like offense and defense?
Yeah, it's hard because we have, I think, a pretty good skill set in terms of our receivers. And last year I thought we did a pretty good job because Ife was down and Quavez was down of finding ways to get Noah the ball. Now we don't really have to do that. It's like and obviously Simeon has stepped up big, and Simeon's been a major part of our passing success whenever we've had success passing. So now it's more of like, read the play and get the ball to whatever skill guy is available, because I don't think we're in a situation that we have to try isolating to get the ball to Noah or to Ife or to Simeon or to Quavez, because again, they're all quality receivers. It's really just the consistency of we need to be in the mid-60s or so in passing percentage. We need to be able to push the ball downfield more. We're just not doing those things, And again, it's not like a lack of want to, it's just a lack of execution. One of the things I've told the team is that it's not the plays called, it's the execution of the plays. We're just not executing. We're getting a little bit too much pressure in the quarterback's face a little earlier than he should have. There's all these little things that are going on around him. And, all the time that he's missed. I mean, I think that hurt Hunter. But, again, we're last game of the season. We're trying to go from 3-9 to 9-3, which would be an amazing feat. And we do know, like, the defense is going to get challenged now. I mean, that quarterback's pretty special. The defense will be challenged, but we got to get back to playing championship level offense, and we haven't done that, really since Hunter's gone down. And it's amazing that we've found ways to win games, even though we haven't played that championship level offense in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Colton again.
Yeah, I'm just curious what you want to see from kind of the defensive guys up front in this one with the quarterback that you mentioned will tuck it and run and be able to just swing it.
Yeah, they got to be smart. We can't have run bys. Those flybys kill you. Those defensive ends coming off the edge and just getting upfield too far, and he can step underneath. And there's times we're going to be running some games inside to try to just keep him contained. We can't get greedy. We got to make sure that we're keeping him in the pocket, because when he pulls the ball down, he's special. So I think the defense is excited for the challenge. I think they know that we got to get the offense back and going, and quite honestly, the defense sort of has to step up and make some plays and keep things at check until we get that offense rolling again. I firmly believe that we can get this offense rolling again. I do. I see signs in practice. I see signs in games. It's just we haven't been consistent, and that lack of consistency offensively has just killed us.
Colin.
Coach, do not mean to look ahead, but y'all got the 8 wins despite what the struggles over the last 2 weeks, and it looks like this year that there's going to be that time where there are going to be more bowl eligible teams than spots. Just what does it mean to just get to that 8-win mark despite what the team has been trying to work for?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, to us, getting to 6 wins was this big accomplishment. It's something we put as a goal, like we want to be bowl eligible. But then we also were smart enough to know that we need to remove ourselves from like any possible like being left out of a bowl. And obviously getting to 8 wins, I think, has put us in a situation we're not going to get left out of a bowl. But as much as anything, Colin, it's like just to think about that 3-9 team, flipping it to 9-3, I just think is like such an amazing accomplishment, and it's right there for us to take. And so I think that's one of the motivations of this team is most of these guys lived through that 3-9 team last year, and now if we can get to 9-3, it's going to show a lot of character, a lot of hard work, and it's going to mean a lot. So again, the defense has played at I think championship level, and the offense was earlier in the season, and now we've had our struggles, and we're all very aware that we got to get that offense back on track. And I've challenged everybody. I've talked to the offensive line about playing with more grit and more toughness and getting more physical. And the same thing with the tight ends and the receivers. I mean, you get a chance to make a play, let's make a play. So again, we have to do a better job supporting Hunter. I don't know if we've done a great job with that. I think we have to step up. Everyone around him has to step up. We've gotten some pretty good play from Duck. The running backs have played some good football. But, this offense has to step up. If we're going to get to 9-3 and have a chance to go win a conference championship the next week, it's going to depend on the offense stepping up and getting back on track. And I think they can. I know how hard they're working, and I do think they can.
Any other questions from you guys for Coach? Yeah, it looks like we do. Luke, Luke's got another one.
Coach, I'll just end it on a fun one. It's Thanksgiving time. What's kind of your go-to Thanksgiving meal on your plate?
Yeah, I like the candied yams now. Probably not the best thing for me, but I love those candies. So to me, if you're having turkey, you got to have some stuffing, and you need to have some candied yams right next to them. And then, I'm good. I'm going to, eat probably a little bit more than I should and put a football game on and, fall asleep at halftime. But, those candied yams, that's the one thing to me that makes Christmas. I mean, makes Thanksgiving. Makes Christmas and Thanksgiving. That's my Thanksgiving and my Christmas meal are very similar, so it makes both of them.
How do you prepare the turkey?
We're not now. We've. I had a neighbor who used to fry those things, and I had another neighbor who used to smoke them, and the smoke would all come over to the house. We're just a put it in the oven kind of gang, so we just put it in the oven and baste it a lot. But it's going to be fun. We're going to have Thanksgiving dinner with the team, which it's cool. Like when you're at that point. In the past, when we were in the playoffs, it signified, okay, it's playoff time. We're having Thanksgiving dinner together. This will be a little bit different, but again, it's pretty cool knowing that this team's going to be going to a bowl, and it's pretty cool to know that when we go out and play Friday, it's going to be on national television, and it's for an opportunity to get back in for the conference championship game. So, again, looking forward to that.
Anything else from you guys before we start to move on? I've actually got one other thing for you, Coach. Just want to give you the opportunity here. Friday before the game, I'm going to honor the senior class.
Yep.
21 seniors going to be honored before this game, and this is a very unique and special senior class. There's guys on this team that have been here since 2019 that missed the playoffs in 2019 and now have gone through this entire transition from a national championship and now going to finish off in a bowl and possibly a CUSA championship if everything works out. Just want to give you the opportunity to talk about this class as a whole, maybe some of these individuals, what they've meant to you, what they've meant to this program as a whole.
Well, and you just said it. You have guys who got here and maybe missed the playoff their first year, then all of a sudden, they're winning a national championship, and then we're in a 21-game win streak, and then we have to go through 2 years of not being able to play for anything. I mean, it's been an interesting journey for a lot of these guys. And I always, on my Friday night talk, which will be Thursday night, I often talk about just don't be surprised how emotional I'll be. I mean, we live our life with these guys. And for some of these guys, it's been 5-6 years that we've been together. And so, you sometimes wonder, how are you going to go to practice next year and Trevor Williams isn't there? How are you going to go to practice next year and Noah Smith's not there? You know what I mean? So some of those guys who are fabric of the team kind of guys, you can't even imagine how it's going to be. I remember when we had Yedidiah Lewis. And I would always just hang out right next to Yedidiah during stretch, and I do my push-ups right next to them all the time, having fun with them. And senior day shows up, and it's like, I'm not going to have Jedediah Lewis with me anymore, So I get very emotional because I know like what they mean to me, and I'm hoping what we as a staff mean to them. And again, that locker room is going to be very emotional, and also there's going to be hopefully a drive. Send these guys out the right way. You will remember that last college football game, you play. And I'll tell them about my last college game when we knew we weren't going to make the playoffs. And there's like 2 minutes left to go in that game against Youngstown State, and we're going to win it. And like I'm balling. And like one of the younger guys was like, what's wrong? I said, you don't understand. I'm never doing this again. I'm never in this huddle again. I'm never in this locker room again. This is over. And years later, that player told me how powerful that was for him because he started to realize every game that he played was getting closer and closer to the end of his career here. And again, I think our guys have had an amazing experience, and this is family. And again, it just would be fitting if we set these guys out the right way with a win.